Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology, and I'm excited because this is going to be a special edition of GoTarryn TV as I welcome one of my favorite guests right here on today's episode. Before I tell you who she is, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, Kristy Wegert is our workout buddy, and she's going to be on here discussing one of the things that's near and dear to me, and that's the recent journal article that I got published in the Journal of Performance Psychology. We're going to talk about that and the relatedness factors needed between personal trainers and their clients. So this is going to be an exciting episode. We're going to get Kristy's expertise and perspective and help in terms of developing that relationship with clients and personal trainers, what it's all about. We're going to take a look at that here momentarily, so make sure you come back, and we will have Kristy Wegert, my workout buddy, right here on GoTarryn TV. And remember, with GoTarryn Health and Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life.
Ritual interviewed Justin Brewer.
Oh, cool. What were they talking about?
It's called Breaking Bad Habits. So.
Oh, I like that. No, that's cute. Yeah, that's a good theme. What were some of the things you were getting out of it?
They were talking about how a lot of people try to intellectualize behavior change. And you really can't come at it from a willpower perspective. It's a lot more to do with noticing what the trigger is, the behavior, and the results, and following the path, and being mindful, using mindfulness as a way to understand that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a lot of what we talk about with personal training too, obviously. And I think a lot of times you probably can relate to this. Obviously we talked about food addiction before, and you can relate with, the weight loss and how hard it is to create that habit. But also, I'm sure you come across clients too, and or even personal people, family, friends. But a lot of times I talk to people about fighting other addictions like alcohol, for example, and changing those habits. So some of my clients have just the powerful addiction that they just can't give up the drinking, which is probably arguably just as strong as food addiction, I'm sure, in just a different way maybe. But the other one too, you'll laugh at this, but probably not be surprised at all. One of my other clients just yesterday was telling me that he was reading a journal that had a study comparing drug addiction, things like opioids and Oxycontin and all this kind of hard drugs, and cell phone addiction. And there were so many parallels, it was scary. And the conclusion of the article actually suggested that cell phone addiction is just slightly more dangerous and more harmful to young people, especially, than the drug addiction. Can you believe that?
In a lot of ways, I can definitely see that, because people become so reliant on them that there isn't an aspect of life that isn't in that darn thing. And every piece of our lives are managed now by our smartphone.
Yes.
Really. I catch myself using it for, you name it. I'm great at directions, and sometimes I wind up using maps, even though I know where I'm going. And I think that's strange, because I want to use my brain. I want to use I have a great sense of direction. I want to use it. And I wind up turning on the thing and plugging in the little screen on my car so that I can make sure I don't get into that traffic jam and they can divert me or whatever. And I've become one of those people.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Kristy. I travel a lot during my day whenever I'm driving. And same thing. I know exactly where I'm going, but yet I always have my phone on the different maps apps, because it's like that for sure, to be dependent upon finding out which are the best ways to go, what to avoid. But I'm right there with you. In fact, it's something like where from the beginning of the morning, right when we wake up to when we go to sleep, it's interesting when, for example, like things like Apple or Android and Samsung give you those statistics and show you on the screen of how much screen time and what your usage is. And to me, it's just frightening sometimes when I see that.
I don't want to know.
Ignorance
Well,
is bliss.
my laptop stays up here in the studio, and if I don't write the workouts in my spreadsheet for tomorrow, I always write my workouts today for tomorrow. If it's Monday workouts, I write them on Friday, so I don't work on the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll take my phone and I'll do it on my phone down on the couch. And I'm sitting there, between sessions or whatever, writing tomorrow's workouts. And I'm sitting there on my phone, hunting over my phone, and I'm like, this is the stuff I tell people not to do. And here I am doing it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, yeah. But cell phone addiction has certainly become, and I don't know what defines it at this point, like how many hours that classifies addiction to a cell phone. But you're right. We become so reliant and dependent on it. And even times when I intentionally try to actively not have my cell phone with me or look at it or be distracted, it is hard because there's so much information on it that we rely on during the day that, we are almost become just, it's like that drug that we need that, it's filling an empty spot of substance that we need to, have it for. But that is just, again, terrifying when I think about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, and when we were talking one time about how you see a trainer at a gym and they've got their cell phone on them. And
all the time.
Honestly, I have Google Sheets of where I keep my clients' workouts, and I can make notes while they're exercising if something happens to them. If it doesn't right on their back, we adjust it and we change the workout. So I'm typing as they go along because, if I wait till afterwards, I might have several back-to-back clients and there's time for notes.
Right,
So
exactly.
I do it during, and so it may, from the outside perspective, look very much like I'm texting the boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But, yeah, it's really interesting how over time, and if it's like that now in this year of 2022, what's it going to be like 5, 10, whatever years from now? I mean, I can't even imagine where we're going to be headed with the way it is. They'll just implant the phones in our brain maybe, and that'll be easier.
Like your arm and things.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is just wild to think about. But yeah, also, Kristy, I wanted to just ask your thoughts, and I appreciate you looking over that article there because that article talked about, basically what it was it was a shortened 20-page of my 350-page dissertation that I did last year. So this 20-page was kind of like the cliff notes, the most important things, because it had the 4 components of the introduction and also the method, and it talked about the summary and data analysis, and then finally it concluded with results from basically, for the folks who don't know about the article, but it was relatedness, relationship skills needed between personal training's clients and their trainers to reach those goals. And at the end of it, it came with 3 themes that were kind of concluding with the article. And I just wanted to get your take, on it in terms of how important that is. We've talked a lot about that in our past discussions, but now just laser focusing on what's called relatedness factors. What's your thoughts, I guess, kind of talking about those 3 different themes and, what you see from your perspective when you see something like that?
Relatedness, and now I'd have to look back at what I read yesterday, and I only read it once.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah. Well, why don't I, in fact, while the people are watching, because if they haven't seen it, the 3 themes, what we're talking about are the emotional connection of the trainer and the client, the mutual caring relationship, that's synergistic between the trainer and the client. And then finally, it's the stretch goals and / dissonance, pushing towards those stretch goals, almost like a tension, a natural mutual tension. For example, come on, you could do 10 more push-ups, and it's almost like you're pushing them past their limit, in terms of reaching those goals. So those were the kind of 3 themes that were concluding that article. And I laughed because one of the quotations, I think you had asked, the direct quotes of trainer when the client was saying that their trainer was interested in just checking out the girls and not really paying attention to their workout. And I'd said that was an exact quote from that article. So yeah, that was true. That was a very true story from one of the subjects and participants that were given their analysis. But yeah, so I guess just kind of, I'm sure you could relate a lot to, what we're talking about with, it's almost like the whole cliche of you and I are almost like psychologists slash bartenders slash hairdressers, you name it. Insert the type of therapy that we're giving them. That's what we are for that hour, right?
Yeah. So that's the relatedness piece, yeah. Um,
Right.
if you don't find mutual ground with your clients and um, you don't have things that you can have small talk around, the relationship isn't going to go very far. You might get through a package of 10 sessions or a couple weeks worth, but if you two don't break the ice a little bit and have more of a friendly relationship and some trust, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it comes both ways, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then once there's a bond there, for lack of a better word, I think the easier it is to maintain a long-term relationship with the client. There's something you both agree with, you had a similar experience, or maybe there's, and this might be getting into the second one, some compassion or empathy around the client's experience, and
Right.
because maybe there was some mutual agreement. I think that 1 and 2 kind of are similar. They sort of connect in a way. The relatedness.
Sure. Yeah, no question about it.
I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, that's good. Yeah, no, that's really good because a lot of times, I'll give you an example, Kristy. When I first started personal training, this way it goes, oh gosh, maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago, probably, when I'm thinking about this particular story, I'll never forget. There was a brilliant trainer and he was a physical therapy doctor slash personal trainer. The smartest guy that I knew at that time, but he never kept clients more than, I don't know, maybe 3 to 6 sessions and they were done. And in fact, I felt bad because I was a novice at that time. I was new and I was getting his clients coming up to me and wanting to train with me that I would eventually keep long term. And what they kept telling me over and over was that he wasn't listening to them, and that was tough for me because I didn't want to go to him and say, because I looked up to him. He was like my mentor. I'll tell you right now, he was very smart, very analytical, but he had zero dry personality. And when the clients wanted to talk, he would tell them sometimes, I witnessed, he would say, we're not talking about your story right now. We're focusing on exercise. Please don't talk about that. We need to work out. Or they would ask him, how's your day? And he'd say, well, that's a personal question. I don't wish to discuss that. Me, I'm the opposite. I'm just like, hey, what's up? How's your day going? Yeah, let's talk. Let's do this, again, this therapy session together. And I embraced that. And I heard clients tell me that that's what they liked, that they thought that I was empathetic, that I was an active listener. And really, for me, all I did was I just put myself in their shoes and thought, well, what would I want from my trainer? Yes, I want that trainer to push me. And again, don't get me wrong. He was definitely a much better trainer than I was in terms of knowing anatomy and physiology and probably effectively making them get results. But what I found interesting in that, when I look back and reflect on it, he couldn't retain long-term clients. And again, I felt bad because I'm just a novice at that point. I don't have the expertise to tell him, but I could tell, to me, it was just common sense. It was like, if the client is paying you for that time, that's kind of like where I got my slogan from, my 3-part component philosophy. When I say it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life, I seriously mean that for my clients, because like, they're paying a lot of money, as you know, they're giving us a lot of their time and they're entrusting, with their life is when they're seeing us. So why not give them what they want for that hour or whatever time, right?
Yeah. I actually, first of all, am I allowed to swear?
Oh yeah, please do. Yes. Want it as authentic as possible. Sure.
Total, like, this is a story from the second client who ever hired me, which was like over 9 years ago. She said, I was with her long term until she moved out of the state.
Yeah.
And, she said, Kristy, you work me really hard, and sometimes I want to punch you in your rosy fucking face, but I can't do it. You're too much fun.
That's like
Like
the best ultimate compliment I think I've ever heard.
I'm a softie and a hardy at the same time or something. Like people ask me, do I have to do another set? I'm like, do you have any compelling reason not to?
That is hilarious. Oh, wow. Wow. That is so funny. It's almost like a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Every one of them. They love me to pieces. They're so excited to see me, and they can't wait for me to leave.
That's so funny. Yeah. What a weird thing. And they pay for it too, right? I mean, isn't that funny? What other profession? Maybe a S&M or something. I don't know.
Like, I've been compared to a dominatrix all the time.
I could see that.
Little kid right now, and he said, you get paid to hurt people, don't you? But I was like, I get that a lot.
That's so funny. That's really funny because I'm just thinking the way my brain thinks, I'm always thinking about marketing and branding. I just thought like a perfect personal trainer niche or some type of gimmick that a new trainer could come up with is the whole dominatrix slash S&M kind of thing with the whips and the chains. Now, maybe that's going a little too far. I don't know. There might be somebody that's turned off from that, but they could develop probably a niche with that. You never know. I mean, that's catchy.
You get a very odd clientele, though. I have to say, people wouldn't know how to
Maybe.
take those. And I mean, unless you've like got years of experience and all these testimonials that would speak to, how you really are. Like you might get a lot of like I've had some strange phone calls
Oh,
from
I'm
men
sure you have. Yeah.
and it was like I'm really glad I didn't have that sort of slogan or logo or whatever.
It's funny because you and I have been doing this long enough that I'm sure we can do a whole 30 minutes on funny stories in terms of, interesting stories from clients and proposals and propositions and such. But that's just, it kind of goes back, in my opinion, to that client, whoever they are. Because again, you and me, we've met and trained hundreds of people at this point. You see that they're so different that everybody has a completely different goal, and hence why it's called personal training, personalized training that we're customizing for them. It's not cookie cutter. And that's why I love this business, because every day is so different, everybody's different, and every day just is more exciting than the other because it's never monotonous. It's not the same thing, right? I mean, I'm probably speaking to the choir right now when I'm telling you that.
Yeah, because every moment you're a different you and they're a different them, and each day is treated us all differently. And
Yeah.
What we all bring to the table in that moment is special and different.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And you're helping people when you think about it so differently too, because your prescription for that person may be 180 degrees completely different than that other person. And in fact, as you know, we've had clients who will come to us and say, oh, please take it easy. Don't work me too hard. And then on the flip side, I want you to be a drill instructor to me. I want you to give me through a boot camp hardcore workout or what have you. Like that woman that you were just telling me about, probably. You just have a full range, right? I mean, it's just amazing.
Oh yeah, but the third piece in that in the list that you gave me, the one about stretch.
Right, pushing towards stretch goals slash dissonance, like meaning almost like not punishment, but almost like an attention to just kind of really push you to that limit, right?
Like just increasing how much weight you can lift, how many push-ups you can do.
Correct, right.
I thought about that from a different perspective because I had some trainers in my youth when my mom owned the studio years ago, and it was like they were renegotiating with me while I was doing my set, and I got mad about that because I was the heavy mid. And so I sort of advised a way to do it to people where I write the spreadsheet and I'll throw away anything I write if it's not working that day. But stretch goals for me, the way I approach it, like yesterday when my teenager was doing his curls, I just told him that we're going to go up to 30-pound dumbbells. I just handed him 30-pound dumbbells, and he's been doing 5 up to that point. And he doesn't pay attention, so I just hand it to him, and this is how we increase him. And I do that with most people. I don't go, is it okay if I give you 15? I don't go there because if I ask them, 90% of them say no.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I I'm sneaky.
Yeah, there's a lot of psychology there because it's definitely, for example, I think you could probably compare it to something like cognitive dissonance when you're trying to push someone to, really sharpen their skills and mentally push them past to what they think they can do. Because, like you said, if you just take the average person and just ask them, well, if it's okay, we could step it up or let's do this harder, then you're right. Most human nature probably just tells us, no, I don't want to do that. But if you push them to do that, kind of like, for example, my background's in martial arts and also wrestling. Our coaches and our instructors would never, ever dare ask, well, can you just do 10 more burpees or can you do these kicks and kick the boards? They would just make you. And in fact, they would do it in a really, aggressive manner. So that's the opposite, I guess, extreme there. But that's true. There's so much to balance. And again, I'm glad you could relate to those themes that kind of were organically produced from, the research participants that were providing their experiences.
Oh yeah, and then number 2, where there's that reciprocal sort of relationship.
Right. Yeah.
What did you say again? I can't remember.
Mutual caring relationship was the theme. Yeah.
So I had a guy who worked with me a few years back, and he was a little like that trainer you were describing. I was asking lots of open-ended questions, trying to delve in and like have more of like some kind of relationship with the guys, so that we would have fun hanging out and working out together, and have to talk about. He wanted nothing to do with chit chat. If I had questions, he would find a way to not answer it, even though I was really working on not asking yes and no questions. He would say,
okay.
Something like that. After 3 years, it became like pulling teeth.
Wow.
It didn't take that long, actually, but I wanted to work with him because I saw progress, and I thought
wow.
With him physically, but personality-wise, he just was not.
See, I'll bet you he probably would have been a perfect client for that trainer that I was talking about earlier. Don't you think? Like, because they probably would have matched personalities perfectly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's somebody for everybody, and maybe I'm just not that person for him. But
well, the fact that you had him for several years, I think you are the trainer for him, because the great thing, I think you and I are a lot alike, where we could be that chameleon and kind of match that energy and match that client's needs. I think we have the same philosophy in a lot of ways, because if he didn't want to talk a lot and what have you, hey, as long as he's seeing the results and you're happy with them, that's personal training, in my opinion. I think that's progress. That's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, we were able to get him more strength-wise.
Yeah.
And I got him to do some longer hikes with me, which was amazing. I think we got him one day to 7.5 miles.
Oh, wow. Wow,
so
that's tremendous.
For a man who's in a larger body.
Yeah.
So I felt like we had some good stuff going there, but.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Again, I think that that's tremendous to be able to, do that. And I think that while we're talking here, Kristy, I just want to make sure before we finish, and if it cuts, let me get your contact information for everybody out there and the best ways for them to contact you, as we're kind of coming to an end to this talk real quick.
Absolutely. My workout buddy, I'm based in Las Vegas. I do mostly Zoom workouts. My contact information, 404-641-7173. My ringer is never on, so text me. My website is my-workoutbuddy.com, and my email is kw, as in Kristy Wegert, myworkoutbuddy@gmail.com.